In the very first breath of this encounter, I invite you to pause, to inhale deeply, and to notice that nothing happening right now is a coincidence. There is an invisible thread weaving together your presence, my voice, and the quiet calling of the universe itself. This same thread is what teaches rivers to find their way to the sea, what guides the tree to stretch upward toward the light, and what inspires human beings to slowly uncover the hidden secrets resting in the heart of creation. You are here because your soul has been asking for more, asking for a kind of knowledge that rises above the surface of everyday explanations and touches something deeper, something timeless. Before we take our first real steps, allow me to ask something that may sound small, but carries tremendous weight. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. To the logical mind, it might seem like a simple digital action, but in the language of metaphysics, every conscious choice is a ripple in the field of energy. By subscribing, you are not only connecting yourself to this stream of wisdom, you are also opening a personal portal of quantum growth within. You create space to receive insights and at the same time to let them overflow into the lives of others. This one gesture multiplies vibrations, sending them outward to touch lives far beyond your own. Many people still believe we walk alone in our personal quests, as if every desire that arises were invented by our isolated minds. Yet the truth is more profound. The longings that stir inside us are not solitary sparks, but echoes of a greater intelligence that surrounds us. When humanity grew fearful of hunger, the earth responded with abundance. When we worried about running out of energy, new and unexpected sources were revealed. It is not the mind inventing from emptiness, but the mind awakening to treasures that were always waiting, hidden in the womb of nature. This natural flow can be observed everywhere. Consider the human body, reshaping itself through centuries, the brain expanding to hold greater horizons of thought and perception. Or reflect on the ancient plants, simple in appearance, yet carrying within their leaves and roots the secrets capable of curing the most complex of illnesses. These gifts did not come from obsession or from wishful demands. They were revealed because necessity aligned with the rhythm of the universe. Humanity merely extended its hand to receive what was already being offered. Yes, the universe is finite, and yet within that finitude lies an immeasurable generosity of potential. It does not pour everything out at once like a storm without direction. Instead, it releases its mysteries in rhythm with our readiness, at the pace of sincere seeking. Just as a mother does not feed a newborn solid food before its time, the universal intelligence reveals deeper truths only as humanity matures enough to hold them. This is not limitation, it is care, it is cosmic pedagogy, a teaching woven into the very fabric of reality. And it is exactly here that our journey begins. To understand that every lack, every moment of scarcity is not a sign of punishment or despair, but an invitation to open ourselves to the natural current of life, where everything is in a constant process of unfolding. Throughout this video, we will walk side by side across this vast field of possibility, exploring how metaphysics and quantum physics converge to remind us that the universe is not an enemy to resist, but a quiet ally, always present, waiting for us to listen deeply. Necessity as the silent creative breath. When we look carefully at the long arc of human history, we begin to notice that nothing of real importance was ever born out of pure whim or vanity. The greatest discoveries and the most transformative shifts were not sparked by shallow desires, but by urgent needs. It was hunger that pushed humanity to cultivate the soil. It was scarcity that taught us to plant seeds, tame animals, and transform the raw land into fields of plenty. What looked like emptiness was never punishment. It was the universe's quiet way of saying, "Look closer. There is more here than you think." Quantum physics echoes this principle in its own mysterious way. A particle, when left unobserved, exists in countless states of potential. Yet the moment it is called forth through observation, it collapses into a single outcome. Necessity functions in much the same way. It is the invisible call that awakens what has been dormant, the force that compels hidden possibilities to step into the light of reality. Without necessity, potential remains asleep. With necessity, reality rearranges itself into form. We see this truth expressed not only in theory, but in the living story of our world. Consider the moment when societies feared the exhaustion of oil. It was not stubborn obsession that carried us forward, but the genuine urgency of survival. This need drove humanity to discover new ways: deeper drilling, natural gas, biofuels, renewable energy. The universe had not created anything new at that moment. Those resources were already woven into its body. What changed was our perception, sharpened by necessity, finally able to recognize what had always been there. And perhaps you have felt this personally. A season in life when the horizon seemed blocked, when no solution appeared in sight, until suddenly an idea arose, a conversation occurred, or an opportunity emerged that shifted everything. These were not random accidents. They were responses to a need your soul had quietly voiced. The universe listens to the authentic language of the heart, even when the conscious mind is not yet aware of what it is asking for. This is why emptiness is not an enemy, but a teacher. Lack is the gentle fire that awakens creativity, that pushes us to stretch beyond what is comfortable. Without the experience of incompleteness, we might remain static, accepting life as it is without searching for more. But the universe, in its deep wisdom, planted within us this restless hunger, this longing that pulls us forward. Every unanswered question, every moment of discomfort is a doorway into a greater possibility. Here, metaphysics and quantum physics meet once again. The longing of humanity and the uncertainty of particles tell the same story. Life is movement, not stagnation. Nothing springs from absolute void. Everything emerges from the relationship between need and potential. Understanding this frees us from victimhood. Instead of fearing scarcity, we begin to recognize it as the compass pointing us toward new horizons. Every lack becomes an invitation to participate in the creative unfolding of existence itself. The universe as a guardian of potentials. When we reflect on the universe, it is easy to fall into the illusion of imagining it as something static, complete, already revealed in its entirety. Yet the deeper truth is far more mysterious. The cosmos behaves like a guardian of secrets, holding treasures within its vastness. It does not hand us every answer all at once. Instead, it releases its mysteries gradually, in rhythm with the maturity of the consciousness that seeks them. It is as if creation itself whispers to us, "Grow first, mature, and only then will you have the eyes to recognize what has always been here, waiting." This process mirrors the way a child is educated. No teacher would attempt to hand a baby advanced equations or abstract theories before first teaching them to count, to recognize shapes, to build the foundation step by step. In the same way, the universe withholds its deepest codes until we have proven capable of handling the smaller lessons of life. Each challenge, each unanswered question, each experience of necessity is nothing less than a doorway through which we step into deeper layers of reality, layers that were always there, silently awaiting our conscious touch. Take, for example, the story of human flight. The skies have always stretched above us, endless, vast, and inviting. For millennia, birds soared freely while humanity only watched from below. The potential for flight was present from the very beginning, embedded in the laws of air and gravity. But only when need, imagination, and courage finally converged did we build wings of metal and rise into the sky. The universe itself did not change. It was our perception that expanded, aligning with a potential that had been waiting for the right key of human awareness. The same principle applies in medicine. Plants have always carried within them active compounds with the power to heal. For generations, people walked past these living libraries without recognizing the language they spoke. Yet within every leaf and every root rested entire volumes of healing formulas, waiting for human consciousness to become refined enough to translate their message. The universe did not suddenly create remedies at the moment of discovery. They were already there, silently offered, awaiting our awakening. This logic reaches into our personal lives as well. How many times have you stood before an obstacle, convinced there was no way forward, only to later realize that the solution was close, almost obvious, yet hidden from sight until the right moment? Reality is like a crystal with countless facets. From one angle we see darkness, from another, light. The truth itself never changed. What changed was our point of view, and that shift revealed new paths we could finally walk. And so we continue, step by step, learning that we are not creating something out of nothing, but uncovering what has always been present, veiled by time and perception. The universe is not only generous, it is profoundly pedagogical. It trains us in patience, in trust, in sensitivity, preparing us to slowly receive the gifts that await us. The secret lies not in demanding answers, but in learning to see. For what we search for is already here. It is simply waiting for us to recognize it. The symphony between humanity and nature. When we take a step back and look at the story of humanity, it becomes clear that we were never truly alone in our journey. Nature has always walked beside us, not as an adversary to conquer, but as a wise companion unveiling its secrets gradually, like a patient teacher guiding a child. every seed that germinates, every river that carves its path, every cycle of the moon. Each of these is a gentle whisper reminding us, I am here to show you the next step. All we need is the humility to listen to this quiet rhythm. Quantum physics affirms this interconnectedness in its own language. Nothing exists in total isolation. Everything vibrates in relation to something else. In the same way, human needs and intentions never echo into emptiness. They resound within the living body of Earth. When humankind feared famine, the soil revealed greater harvests. When we longed to navigate, the seas offered winds and currents as guides. This was not magic, nor was it domination. It was resonance, the alignment of human consciousness with the grand rhythm already pulsing in nature. Consider the role of carbon in this dance. Many view it only as a danger, a destructive excess, forgetting that carbon is also the foundation of growth for plants and, through them, for all living beings. The universe creates nothing without purpose. Even what seems excessive holds a role in the larger balance. The real challenge lies not in condemning or exploiting, but in learning how to harmonize. Nature itself demonstrates this principle endlessly, transforming, adapting, turning what seems destructive into conditions for renewal. This perspective applies just as deeply to personal life. How often have you resisted something that felt like a problem, only to discover later that it was the very experience you needed for growth? Just as a plant strengthens its roots in the shadows before stretching toward the sun, we too need moments of difficulty to anchor our consciousness. Struggles are not punishments, they are preparations. They sculpt the inner structure necessary for us to expand into our fullest potential. It is in this sense that the universe appears to bend toward our needs, not because it blindly obeys our will, but because we are all immersed in the same river of life. Humans, animals, plants, oceans, and even stones are woven into the same song. When a person opens themselves sincerely, aligning desire with truth, they enter the right tone of that symphony. And in that harmony, the world around them responds, revealing solutions and discoveries that were always waiting in silence. Life, then, is not a struggle against nature, but an invitation to align with it. Each time we choose harmony, we transform invisible potential into visible reality. Evolution does not happen through force, but through attunement. To attune is to listen, listening to the earth, listening to the body, listening to the silence within. For it is within silence that the universe speaks most clearly, unveiling truths too subtle to be shouted, but powerful enough to transform everything. The hidden language of necessity. If we observe life with a patient and attentive eye, we begin to notice that necessity speaks its own language, a language not made of words, but of subtle signs and silent impulses that rise within our days. It is the restlessness that appears without reason, the uneasy sense of absence that urges us to search, to question, to move forward. Many mistake this sensation for weakness, for failure, or even for punishment. Yet in truth, it is nothing less than a sacred code written into the fabric of existence, a secret password designed to open new doors. Necessity is the way creation itself speaks to us. Quantum physics presents us with a parallel mystery. A particle, left unobserved, remains suspended in multiple states of potentiality. Yet the very moment it is summoned into visibility, a choice is made, and one outcome solidifies. Necessity operates in much the same way. It is the invisible summons, the silent knock at the door of reality, calling forth dormant potential to step into form. Without necessity, everything stays asleep in the vast sea of possibilities. It is the experience of lack that triggers reality to collapse into something tangible. Think of your own life. How many times have you felt the urge to change something but had no idea where to begin? Then, seemingly by chance, a series of signals appeared. A conversation with someone unexpected, a book falling into your hands at the right moment, an opportunity that arrived disguised as coincidence. These were not random events scattered across the void. They were responses to the silent request of your necessity. The universe is always listening to the language of the heart, even when the conscious mind cannot yet translate the message. But listening is not enough. It comes with responsibility. When necessity becomes clear, life does not merely hand us opportunities. It entrusts us with tasks. The one who first discovered fire did not only gain warmth, he also inherited the duty of learning to use it without destruction. The healer who uncovered medicine in plants did not only receive healing, he received the mission to preserve, to protect, and to share that wisdom. Every answer life offers is both a gift and a summons to rise to the occasion. On the intimate level, this truth teaches us not to fear the sensation of emptiness. Emptiness is fertile. It is like soil that seems dry and lifeless before the rain, yet already holds within it the seeds of the coming season. When we embrace the hidden language of necessity, we stop interpreting lack as defeat and start recognizing it as the first sign of revelation. Life calls us in these moments to trust, to lean into the unseen, even when the visible world shows no evidence. Here lies one of the greatest mysteries of all. It is not obsession that moves the universe, but resonance. A desire born out of ego quickly dissolves into noise, leaving us exhausted. But when a longing arises from essential necessity, it aligns with the natural current, and the cosmos itself responds. This is the dance between metaphysics and quantum physics, the meeting point between human yearning and hidden potential, where possibility collapses into reality. And in that alignment, we discover that nothing is truly impossible when we flow with the natural course of life. Intuition as a portal of access. Intuition may be the most refined and delicate of all the languages through which the universe speaks to us. It does not arrive dressed in logical reasoning or presented as mathematical proof. Instead, it comes as a whisper within, a subtle certainty that defies explanation, yet feels undeniably real. Many dismiss it because it does not fit into rational frameworks. But intuition is the invisible thread linking us to the larger fabric of creation. Through it, we are able to sense the signs before they solidify into tangible events. Quantum physics offers a parallel through the principle of uncertainty. Before observation, reality exists as a vast ocean of probabilities. Intuition functions like a finely tuned antenna, capable of picking up ripples in that ocean before they collapse into concrete outcomes. It is as though we carry within us a natural radar, sensitive enough to detect the direction of the wind before it rises on the surface. This capacity is not mystical or otherworldly. It is part of our biology, shaped by the necessity to survive, adapt, and evolve across countless generations. Practical examples of this truth live in all of us. Perhaps you have felt the sudden impulse to reach out to someone, only to discover they were in need of your presence or words at that exact moment. Or maybe you made a decision that seemed illogical at the time, yet later revealed itself to be the wisest choice you could have made. These are not random accidents or mysterious coincidences. They are subtle responses from the universe, translated into the language of emotion and bodily sensation before the mind is able to comprehend. But this is why cultivating intuition is every bit as essential as training the intellect. If we nourish the mind through study, practice, and knowledge, we must also nourish intuition through silence and presence. Meditation, contemplation in nature, or even the simple discipline of listening deeply, without rushing to respond, are ways to sharpen this inner antenna. The more we tune in, the clearer our perception of the natural flow of life becomes, allowing us to recognize signals that would otherwise remain hidden. In practice, this means living with sensitivity. Rather than resisting discomfort or ignoring the unease that stirs within, we learn to pay attention. If something inside us calls for change, if the heart beats with quiet restlessness, it is not weakness. More often, it is the universe gently nudging us toward the next step. Intuition is that silent invitation, opening doors that reason has not yet learned to see. And here lies the central point. Following intuition does not contradict logic, it expands it. Intuition aligns us with the same current that guides the tides, organizes the stars, and sustains the breath of life in every creature. It is not a spiritual luxury reserved for a few, but an essential instrument for anyone navigating the invisible field of possibilities. Intuition is the living portal that draws us nearer to the greater intelligence that surrounds and guides us, moment by moment. Thought and emotion, the dual keys of the flow. If intuition is the portal through which we step, then thought and emotion are the twin keys that turn within it. Thought gives shape, structure, and direction, while emotion provides warmth, intensity, and momentum. Alone, each is incomplete. Thought without emotion is cold, sterile. It designs, but does not move mountains. Emotion without thought is like a fire without a hearth, blazing wildly and then burning out in chaos. But when the two meet in harmony, they fuse into a creative energy capable of aligning human beings with the natural flow of life itself. Quantum mechanics gives us a beautiful metaphor for this union. The wave represents possibility, endless and unformed. The particle represents realization, specific and tangible. Emotion is the wave, radiating vibrations outward into the unseen. Thought is the particle, giving focus and direction to collapse potential into reality. Only when the two dimensions are joined does an essential desire move from possibility into manifestation. The universe does not obey us. It resonates with the coherence we generate within. Everyday examples reveal this truth. Imagine someone who wants to transform their life. If they only think about change, their ideas pile up but never leave the page. If they only feel without clarity of thought, their energy scatters without impact. But when mind and heart come together, a rare force arises. They begin to act, to seek, to attract opportunities and connections that had always been there but unseen. That inner coherence reverberates outward, reshaping the external field and revealing paths they could not perceive before. It is the same with our pains. When emotions are suppressed, thought becomes clouded and life falls out of rhythm. But when we allow ourselves to feel fully and then think with clarity afterward, suffering transforms into wisdom. Grief can turn into poetry. A fall can transform into momentum. A loss can germinate into a seed of new beginning. The universe always responds to the alignment between what we feel and what we think, even if the response arrives slowly on its own time. But this offers us a practical lesson. Learn to align intention with emotion. When you set a goal, pause and ask yourself, does my heart vibrate in this direction? If the answer is yes, the energy rising within you will echo through the universe. This is how we navigate the ocean of quantum probabilities, not by wishing blindly, but by vibrating in resonance with what we seek. Intention without resonance remains an echo. Intention with resonance becomes a wave. At its core, thought and emotion are like two wings. No bird can fly with only one. The flight of the soul requires balance between reason and feeling, logic and intuition, the clarity of the mind and the strength of the heart. When that balance is achieved, there is no fear of being lost, for in that state we are no longer walking alone. We are carried gently but powerfully by the natural current of life itself, which sustains, guides, and accompanies us every step of the way. Everyday life as the laboratory of the infinite. So often, we are led to believe that the sacred can only be found in temples, on mountain peaks, or within extraordinary moments of revelation. Yet the deeper truth is that daily life itself is the greatest laboratory of the infinite. It is in the ordinary gestures, the quiet of the morning, the way we greet a stranger, the care we place into a simple task, that we test our alignment with the universe. Spirituality is not something separate or distant from life. It breathes directly through the way we live our most common and seemingly insignificant moments. Quantum physics reminds us that every interaction matters, no matter how small. In life, each act is also a collapse of reality. When we offer a smile, we create a probability for joy. When we project hostility, we generate a probability for distance and disconnection. These daily choices accumulate, shaping the field of existence in which we live. The universe does not only respond to our grand ambitions or lofty intentions, but most powerfully to the steady frequency of our small, repeated actions. For this reason, aligning thought and emotion is not something reserved for monumental decisions. It must extend into the simplest routines. When we cook, we can infuse the food with care. When we work, we can infuse the tasks with purpose. When we rest, we can infuse the silence with gratitude. These subtle collapses of reality, multiplied across the day, generate a vibrational field that transforms not only ourselves, but also those who share our space. In this way, the ordinary becomes an instrument of profound change. Consider a practical example. Imagine someone living in the middle of urban chaos. The noise, the speed, the overwhelming demands can feel like a severing from the essential. Yet if they pause, take a conscious breath, notice their own presence, and choose a small act, whether lifting their gaze to the sky or offering thanks for something simple, that single moment reorganizes their inner vibration. And when the inside shifts, the outside begins to shift as well. Like a stone dropped into still water, ripples spread outward, touching spaces far beyond the initial point of contact. And this is why we can truly say, you are the co-author of your reality. Not because you control the universe with a single thought, but because the way you live each moment shapes the field in which you exist. By adjusting your inner frequency, you alter the probabilities that unfold before you. The invisible responds to the visible, not loudly but with subtle precision. This is metaphysics put into practice, where theory meets the ground of everyday living. And perhaps the most beautiful truth is this: we do not need perfect conditions to access this laboratory. It is already open every morning, in every encounter, in every word we speak. The universe does not demand perfection. It asks for presence. When we live with awareness, even the smallest gesture, switching on a light, watering a plant, offering a simple embrace, becomes a silent prayer that aligns us with the larger current of life. The extraordinary reveals itself within the ordinary, but only to those who are willing to see. The human being as a channel of transmission. When we align ourselves with the natural flow of life, something extraordinary begins to unfold. We cease to exist merely as receivers of answers or seekers of solutions, and instead we become transmitters of energy and consciousness. We are no longer only those who draw from the universe. We become bridges through which the universe expresses itself. In this state, humanity steps into its role as an active participant in the cosmic dialogue, a living channel through which higher intelligence pours itself into the world. Just as an antenna picks up invisible frequencies and translates them into music or image, so too do we, when our thoughts and emotions are tuned, transmit vibrations that ripple outward. A single word of encouragement can redirect the course of someone's life. A small act of kindness can multiply into waves of healing that reach people we will never meet. Each conscious action is like a beam of light piercing through the ordinary, spreading harmony across the fabric of existence. Quantum physics offers a profound parallel in the concept of entanglement. When two particles interact, they remain connected even when separated by great distances. In much the same way, every human choice resonates far beyond the boundaries of the self. It touches distant lives, future generations, and unseen dimensions. When you act with awareness, you are not only shaping your own life, you are setting off ripples that echo through the universe in ways you may never fully comprehend. Consider a simple but powerful example. When someone chooses forgiveness instead of nurturing resentment, they break a chain of pain that might otherwise continue for years or even generations. That single act is not confined to the present moment. It creates a field of liberation freeing both the one who forgives and the one who is forgiven. In that instant, the universe itself seems to exhale with relief, for energy once trapped in conflict finds its way back into the natural flow. This is transmission of harmony in its purest form. To become a transmitter does not mean becoming flawless or untouchable. It means becoming available. It is the willingness to accept that we are instruments of something greater, and that even our mistakes can be reshaped into lessons and light when surrendered to consciousness. Life does not demand unreachable sainthood. It asks for openness. When we are open, even our vulnerabilities can serve as bridges for others to learn, allowing universal intelligence to manifest in ways that are both humble and profound. In this light, we come to understand that humanity's true mission is not merely to survive or consume the resources Earth provides. Our mission is to participate actively in the current of existence, becoming channels for the transmission of harmony, wisdom, and love. Each of us carries a spark of that universal fire, and the more we allow that spark to shine, the more it lights the paths for others to follow. The universe speaks through us, as long as we are willing to listen deeply and to share what flows through. Closing and final invitation. As we arrive at the final moments of this journey together, it is important to remember that every ending is also the threshold of a new beginning. What may feel like the closing of a path is, in truth, the opening of another dimension of awareness. In this shared walk, we have explored metaphors, stories, and reflections that revealed a vital truth. The universe does not bend to human whims or shallow obsessions, but it does respond generously to genuine necessity. Life is not a battle to be fought against nature, but an intimate dialogue with her, an ever-present flow that both holds and guides us. We spoke of necessity as the hidden language of creation, of intuition as the quiet portal of access, of thought and emotion as the twin keys that unlock the flow, and of human beings as transmitters of harmony. Together, these insights point toward a single realization. Life is not static. It is a process of attunement. None of us are alone in our search. We are interwoven with a greater intelligence that patiently reveals its secrets in step with our growth as we become ready to see and receive. Of the emptiness you sometimes feel, the moments of loss, confusion, or struggle, they are not signs of abandonment. They are invitations. Invitations to expand, to shift perception, to uncover the hidden layers of possibility already present. Scarcity is not the final word. It is the opening line of a deeper conversation. And each time we meet that call with trust and with willingness, reality itself responds by collapsing into new expressions, bringing forth what once seemed impossible. Now, the responsibility and the gift belongs to you. Carry this understanding into your daily life. Remember that you do not need extraordinary events to live in harmony with the universe. Each small gesture can become a sacred act. A smile extended to another, a word spoken with care, a task performed with intention. These are seeds that shape the field around you. The extraordinary hides within the ordinary, waiting to be revealed through your presence. And if this message resonated with you, allow it to flow further. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with others. It may seem like a simple digital gesture, yet in metaphysical terms, it is an act of expansion. By subscribing, you connect yourself more deeply to this current of knowledge, while also helping it reach lives beyond your own. What you receive here does not end with you, it overflows. And in that overflow, transformation spreads. So I leave you with this invitation. Live as though you are listening to a secret symphony. The universe is always playing its melody, and you are both the listener and the instrument. Walk with confidence. Celebrate your discoveries. Welcome the challenges, for they too are teachers. And never forget, you are not only part of creation, you are a living expression of it. May your inner light, aligned with the natural flow of life, shine brightly enough to illuminate the paths of many others. And so, see you in the next video, with more information on everything that involves growing, evolving, transforming, and manifesting. See you soon.